Yeah, so just we are going to start because finally I have get the concern uh, from the Professor uh, Bhawna Misra Madam. So Anil sir, now we can start.
Yes, because
Yes, 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 sir,
be-
yes.
yes, because please start.
Okay, okay, sir, okay, sir.
And
Yes, okay. Thank you,
So
ma'am. चालू हो गए तो लाइट तो दे रहा है हाँ और आपका
uh,
भी आ जा रहा है ना
good
ये तो
evening
कैमरा
to all of you.
ठीक ठीक है ऊपर बोल रहा बंद कर दो
Respected
दोनों चल रहा है तो
Professor
उसको बंद कर
Geeta Dharampal Madam, retired Dean of Research, Gandhi Research Foundation, Jalgaon, Maharashtra, former head of the Department History, South
सुना
Asian Institute, Heidelberg University, and member of the Governing
ओके
Council, ICSR, ICSSR, New Delhi. On the behalf of me and on the behalf of the Indian Research Scholars Association, I would like to welcome in the depth of my heart to Professor Geeta Dharampal Madam, Professor Biswajit Ghosh Sir, prestigious sociologist and former Vice Chancellor of the Burdwan University, West Bengal. I would like to welcome on the behalf of me and on the behalf of Indian Research Scholars Association uh, to Honorable Biswajit Ghosh sir, Professor Bhawna Pandey madam, Principal of the Dyal Singh Evening College, Delhi. I think madam will join later. The four panelists we have invited various parts of the India. So Professor Bhavna Pandey madam has joined and madam have fewer. So you're most welcome madam. We all are waiting for you. And it is a really honor for me that madam you have accepted my request and to present here. So you're most welcome madam, and because madam is unable to deliver her lecture, so on the behalf of madam I will send the message. I will read the paper draft who has prepared by honorable Bhavna Pandey madam. So the panelists who are present to various parts of the India, Professor Ramakrishna Dharmar sir, Dean of Arts, Kamaraj University, Tamil Nadu, Professor Prasanna Kumar Panigrahi sir. Sir has present from the in the political science department from the Central University of the Arunachal Pradesh. Dr. Gagan Bihari Sahu sir, Director, Social Science Research Institute, Gujarat. Professor Jyotiraj Pathak sir, Surgery,
Namaste.
Land University, Assam. So, on the behalf of me, I would like to welcome all the panelists who are present the various parts of the India. First of all, I would like to congratulate the author of the book to Professor Anil Kumar Biswas sir, Associate Professor in Political Science Department, Burdwan University, West Bengal. Sir has contributed excellent literature in the field of the right to education and on the in the field of the in the various in the which will be contribute in the various parts of the in the tribal areas. So I would like to welcome the entire team of the Indian Research Scholars Association and the all participants. Those all have taken their valuable time and joined this lecture series. So, as we all know that here are the prestigious and eminent historians are present to Professor Geeta Dharampal, madam. So, I will not take much and more time. I want to share few lines about the Geeta Dharampal, madam. So, Professor Geeta Dharampal, madam, is the daughter of the Sri Dharampal sir. Sri Dharampal sir is a renowned historian, freedom fighter, and has also contributed read literature on the field of the scientific temperament technology, rural development, and recently madam has published essential writing of the Sri Dharampal sir. So because madam has a very big CV, this is not possible for me to read entire CV, so I will not take much and more time. Directly I would like to request to Professor Geeta Dharampal, madam. Madam, we are waiting for your lecture. So thank you so much, madam. Now this stage is your, madam. And yes, madam, you're most welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this invitation and for this introduction. I feel truly humbled. And I would like to wish everybody a very good evening, to my esteemed colleagues, distinguished faculty, and dear students. It's an honor and a privilege to serve as president of this special event. And in this capacity as president, it's my distinct pleasure to welcome you all to this special online book discussion. Firstly, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants for taking the time out of their busy schedule to join us. A special thank you to our chief guest, Professor Biswajit Ghosh, and to our guest of honor, Professor Bhawna Pandey. I'm sorry that she's not here, but maybe she's able to listen. I feel truly humbled by your distinguished presence. But my deep appreciation also goes to our four esteemed panelists who have graciously agreed to lead our discussions. And above all, my sincere gratitude to our efficient organizer, Shri Vikas Kumar, and to our convener, Shri Ashwani Kumar, and my thanks to the other 6 members of the organizing committee for making all the arrangements and ensuring the smooth running of this successful event. In particular, I would like to congratulate the Indian Research Scholars Association for initiating this important lecture series focusing on both research methodology and contemporary issues. This initiative thus provides young, promising academics with the opportunity to hone their research skills, to improve their research skills, and to be guided in selecting crucial research topics that urgently need to be addressed to solve the grave problems faced by our society and polity today. Today's discussion offers a wonderful opportunity to delve deeper into themes of utmost relevance to contemporary India. The book selected for today's discussion, Right to Education of Tea Tribes, Feasibility and Reality, authored by Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas, is a paradigmatic example of the urgent need to highlight the crucial importance of the right to education, especially for marginalized and exploited sections of our population, such as the tea tribes of Northeast India. In focusing on this topic, we must, however, also understand the deeper meaning and purpose, the aim, the objective of education. As Mahatma Gandhi maintained, education is not just about literacy, not just about being able to read and write. It should be a holistic experience that enables students to become competent citizens, useful citizens of India, contributing to the world of tomorrow. We must, I feel, also deconstruct the colonial legacy that disrupted our locally vibrant education systems, as described in Shri Dharampal's, my late father's, well-known book, The Beautiful Tree. It's about indigenous education in the 18th century. And it is on the basis of British documents from the early British, before they really established themselves, about the existence of schools in every village of India. And there the Madras presidency, the Bengal presidency, the Punjab presidency, there's a whole lot of data. And this is reproduced in The Beautiful Tree. So I would recommend this as mandatory reading for all students of history. You see that these village schools are supported by the village economy. The teachers in these schools belong to all castes of society, not really to the Brahmins. And the children who are attending these schools belong primarily to the Shudra castes or below. And they are taught literacy and numeracy, but also they are given an introduction to the literature of India, to various technologies. They are taught also by craftsmen from their local village. I mean, at the end of about 6 to 8 years of education, where daily education for about 6 hours every day, they are competent to lead professional lives in their villages. They are not uprooted from their surroundings, from their environment. I think this is a very important book that needs to be read, and one needs to understand what education is. And Gandhiji, he takes this up. He says that he knew about the existence of these schools, but he didn't have a sufficient documentation. And so my father later, after independence, he got involved in historical work, and he did some research in the British archives, and he came up with this documentation and others. You can find a lot of details about Shri Dharampalji's research on the internet. Yet India's colonial legacy not only affected education, but is also responsible for the origin of the tea tribes of Assam, who didn't originate in Assam itself, but were forced to migrate from other regions of India. And these tribes, so-called tribes, they don't have tribal status yet, scheduled tribe status. Most of them don't have that as yet. They remain displaced and impoverished nearly 2 centuries later, when India is striving to become the world's third most vibrant economy. So I think this is ironical or paradoxical that this condition still remains. So we need a work like Anil Kumar Biswas's work draws attention to the need to improve the condition of marginalized and destitute people in India of the 21st century. And our discussion today, I hope, will aim to focus, to foster a stimulating and thoughtful dialogue that hopefully will enhance our collective understanding and will pave the way for further pioneering research. I encourage each and every one of you to share your insights and perspectives, as your contributions are invaluable to developing a critical and nuanced discourse. Please feel free to pose questions and engage actively in the discussion. Your voice is crucial in this collaborative learning experience. All the while, let us ensure that our conversation remains respectful and constructive, as we are here to learn from each other. I am confident that we will all benefit from the diverse points of view and expertise present in this virtual space. And while looking forward to a productive and enlightening discussion, I appreciate each and everyone's commitment to fostering a vibrant academic exchange. I'm really excited to know about the ideas that will emerge from today's session. And I hope this discussion inspires further rigorous research and critical inquiry beyond today. Let us continue to engage with the multifaceted dimensions of India's past and present in search of truth, fostering a lifelong love of learning and intellectual curiosity. This is the best way to bring about the much needed cognitive decolonization. That means unburdening, taking the burden off our minds of distorted intellectual baggage. We have a whole lot of colonial baggage that is distorted. We need to get rid of this. We take it off. And so that we instead can chart out innovative, challenging paths that open up new horizons for a new Bharat of the 21st century. Thank you very much, and I wish us all success in our endeavors today and in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your wonderful presentation. And you have suggested a lot of things that scholars and students should be asked the question, and students and scholars should also arises the critical thinking. So thank you so much, ma'am. The next speaker who is our today's chief guest, Professor Biswajit Ghosh, sir, eminent sociologist and former vice chancellor of the Burdwan University. And recently, sir has published a very excellent book on the social movement. I'm unable to read here the exact title of that book. I think for 3 days and 4 days, that book has published from the Rootless. So I will not wait more. I want to invite to our today's chief guest, to Professor Biswajit Ghosh, sir. You're most welcome, sir. Now this stage is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bikash. Thank you, Geeta ji. It's really a wonderful occasion. I was not aware of the fact that something called Indian Research Scholar Association does exist in India, which provides a platform to bring out issues of intellectual curiosity, resolve our issues. Normally these days, I often say that people don't read books. They often also do not read articles. So probably these platforms provide widen the scope of reading habits. Unlike many European countries where probably people read more, we don't read here. So I think this is a golden opportunity being offered by this association, and I would really like for her to look forward to listen more from this association, where issues faced by scholars are being discussed, and issues of intellectual curiosity are being resolved, and how to proceed, how to do research, and how to write books and articles. These are all being discussed. So secondly, I must congratulate my former colleague. Since I have retired from this university, so he is my former colleague in that sense, technically. Anil Kumar Biswas, Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas of the Department of Political Science. And incidentally, the Department of Political Science was the mother department of my department, because when sociology started in Burdwan in 1988, it was flowed in the Department of Political Science. And two of my faculty members used to sit down with the political science teachers, and later on, after 2 years, it became a full-fledged department. So congratulations, Anil, for producing a book which is of intellectual curiosity, which is a need of the time. I have been researching on tea plantation workers, not tea. I rather use the term plantation. And along with me, there are other scholars like Sharit Bhomik, who were pioneers in researching on the plantation industry of North Bengal in particular. And we have been writing and researching on the plights of the marginalized workers. I haven't used the term tea tribes because that is quite common in Assam. In North Bengal, this is not being used. Probably Anil is the first writer to use the term for North Bengal tribes. Because of certain historical reasons, we didn't use the term tea tribes. Because in the tea gardens, in the plantation industry, Nepalis are there and the other communities are there who are also involved. And many of those who migrated, they have settled down here, and they have no hope of going back to Chhattisgarh or the places from where they come. So the story of the marginalization of plantation workers is being a long story, and just last month I finalized an article for another article of mine to be published in a Routledge book on the fate of tea industry. And in fact, while writing the conclusion, I was feeling very sad because I could not suggest any step that probably the state, neither the state government nor the central government could take now, as of now, in order to resolve the impasse. Because of certain reasons that I'm going to discuss today, because there are Anil's book will be discussed by the panelists who are already being listed. Let's look into the history of this plantation industry in Jalpaiguri. Anil has stated the genealogy of how it began in North Bengal. If you look into the plantation industry as a scientist, tea bushes start giving good quality tea after 30 years, and they continue giving good quality till 60 years. So the range is around 30 years. After that, you have to replant it. And the government of India, through the tea board, provides free plants, 7 rupee per plantation, per plant. The government of India gives subsidy for planting tree bushes. This has been provided by the tea boards. But most of the tea gardens of North Bengal, they are more than 100 years old. So after 60 years, in between 60 and 80, you have to pull them up and rebuild the whole sort of thing. That is not being done. As a result of this cheap tea, low quality tea, small garden, low quality tea, they have plugged in, and recently this bogey of low quality pesticides, use of pesticides and chemicals, and these are also being raised. So there's a fight between the majority low quality tea garden owners, or some of them are also workers cooperatives run by workers themselves, and some big companies. Even Goodrick, which is a very good solid company, and Duncan, which is a very solid company of Birlas, they are becoming sick. So the line of distinction between a good tea garden and a sick tea garden is no more today. A good tea garden may become sick because of certain reasons, and environment is one additional factor which was not there at least 10 years back. Certain rise in temperatures, continuous rainfall, many other factors. And if you look into the prices, tea prices hasn't gone up as compared to other, investment in raw material. So as a result of that, what happened that people do come to buy a plot, to buy a tea garden on contractual basis, and the government comes in between. A contract is being signed. As per the law, a garden should not be abandoned, and if it is abandoned within 3 years, there is punishment and several other things being written. But none of these really work out in the tea gardens, because the owner, the contractor, those who take the responsibility of running the garden, leave it without informing the workers. Suddenly a closure takes place, then a discussion takes place, and often the cases go to the judiciary. And the judiciary takes a longer period in order to settle the case. So then the government comes for, the officials come for debate and persuasion. Please hold the like this. And the moment a new owner takes the charge of a particular garden, he does not pay the dues. He does not pay the bonus. He does not pay provident fund. He does not pay all these things. He does not repair the houses being provided to the workers. You probably know that as per the plantation law, the tea wages are less. Wages paid to the workers are less because non-wage benefits are also given to the workers. Non-wage benefit comprising ration, free electricity, free accommodation, free water, and other free medical facilities. Now, if you travel to any tea garden, these free things have gone. Medical facilities are not there. You have to travel to 6 to 7 kilometers in order to go to a hospital, right? So these are all government endeavor now. Garden owners do not provide any sort of thing, and the water, drinking water, which comes through the tank, is polluted water because the waters are not cleaned. So there's a whole lot of issues involving the plantation industry, and as a result of that, people have started talking of developing tourism. Tea tourism, right? This is one suggestion. But if a tea garden has been converted into a hotel, how many people would get job? Do you think that this illiterate, unskilled tea garden workers are going to be absorbed in the hotel industry? Not at all. So the plights of the workers. This is one of the reasons for which the Save the Children and UNICEF conducted a research in the tea gardens, and I was one of the person carrying out the research in 12 tea gardens, and we found that trafficking, child marriage, and all these vulnerabilities, they are on the rise, and everybody knows that people go out, children go out to work in different places because the father cannot work, the garden is closed. The mother is not capable of working, and many of these families are very large. In fact, the normal family size that I saw in 2011-12 was 5. So you can imagine that the number of children born to a family is more than 5 to many families. In fact, it is nearly 7 in many families. So as a result of this, with so many children, and the facilities are not there, educational facilities are there. I mean, Anil has worked on the educational facilities. I have seen that the students have to travel 5 to 7 kilometers to reach a school. Now, even though the government of West Bengal has given a cycle to all school children, and they do have a cycle, but how do you run a cycle through a river? And during rainy days, when there is so much of water on the river, you cannot go. You just stop going. So during rainy days, you cannot go. During any other calamity, you cannot go. If it is too hot, you cannot go. If there is extra work in house, girls do not go. So often, and many of the children with whom I worked in the tea gardens, they said, "Uncle, what is the point of studying? After all, in the enclave industry, this is a sort of enclave, they're encircled. There's no way to go out. If you have to go to Siliguri, you have to travel at least 25 to 30 kilometers. So this is encircled by forest and other things. Roads are not there. In fact, we took a four-wheeler to reach the tea garden, and we could not, because even with two-wheeler you cannot go. You can either walk or ply through a cycle, and even often in certain places you have to take the cycle on your head and walk through the mud. So that is the condition of roads inside the tea gardens, and the management took very little responsibility in managing this. And I also noticed a sharp divide between the Nepali management and the Adivasi workers. Most of the managers are Nepalis, and they are property classes. They belong to a upper, so far as economic standard is concerned, they belong to a upper class. They don't just bother about the plights of Adivashi workers. So there is a distinction between Nepali interest of the Nepali workers, Nepali supervisors, Nepali managers, and the Adivashi workers. And ironically, many of the agents of trafficking are Nepalis. So often in a clash between a tribe and a Nepali worker, if it is a clash against a tribal, against a trafficking agent, the Adivashis keep mum. Adivashis keep mum because the Nepalis are in dominant majority so far as the electorate is concerned. The political elites belong to Nepali community. The people who win election, they belong to this community. So often you go to police won't react. Right? If it is a case of trafficking or any other cases of vulnerability, domestic violence, alcoholism, alcohol is being sold everywhere. Even women consume alcohol. Right? And often we found that they consume alcohol because they do not have money to buy rice. So consumption of alcohol is often seen to be a way out to save money. Because if you buy alcohol, this locally made alcohol, 1 kilo of rice can produce 5 kilo of alcohol. So 1 kilo of rice can provide food to say 10 persons in a family. But 1 kilo of rice, they eat a lot. These children eat a lot. I have seen the children eating more than 200 grams of rice a day. They need more. The kind of ration being given is not enough for this family. So on the whole, this alcohol, so much of alcohol in the tea garden also is to be seen in the light of the constraints being imposed by this enclave economy. So there is no way to go out. So obviously, you leave your studies, you go out, and you look for alternative. And often when I say that if you go out, you will be exploited, you will face so much of difficulties. They said, what is there what kind of life is there inside the garden? There are instances of people accepting death. This is something that probably we cannot hear in the newspaper. People accept death, old people, because they do not have the money to hire a car or an ambulance to go to the hospital. To say, they also do not have, and the kind of medicines given, I have been to different medicinal shops run by the management. Just some, if you go with headache, they will give Calpol. If you go with stomach pain, they will give Calpol. If you go with any kind of ailment, physical ailment, they will give you only Calpol, because this is the only medicine available in the health center run by the management. Right? So obviously they don't go there. So given these kinds of constraints, talking about right to education probably provides a platform to argue about the rights of the marginalized people. And the person who inaugurated this before me probably talked about the kind of contrast which India has. Right? On the one hand, we talk about Amrit Kal, but on the other hand, we are there talking about the marginalized community who cannot and who are not able to live life, a normal life. So given these kinds of constraints, I think I am very happy that Anil has done a research on, this is an ICSSR sponsored research, which he has done. And I would expect him to write more about this, linking the issue of education with other issues, the issue of gender, issue of marginalization, issue of unemployment, right? What would a child do by reading, by studying up to class 10, say? So, this is a question that a Muslim girl posed me when I went to Malda. What do I do after passing Madhyamik? Tell me, right? I will have to be married, and if I am to be married, my family will have to pay more dowry because I am aged, because I have passed Madhyamik. My family has to pay more dowry. So given these kinds of catastrophe that many of the marginalized people, rural people living in tree gardens face, I think this platform probably is the right platform to spread this message and stand for the marginalized people. So with these few words, let me stop and pass over the microphone to the organizer. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Uh, Thank you so much, sir. You have covered many aspects regarding the tribal education and regarding the tribal problems, which is presently faced by the tribal population in India, as medical facilities, education facilities, market facilities, and connectivity issues. So, this is not possible for us that we will be continue on this issue lecture in the other lecture series. So just now I want to invite to Professor Bhawna Pandey, madam. Madam, you will be speak. Otherwise, I have sent your message to. Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, you are mute, ma'am.
Namaskar to everyone. I congratulate I congratulate Dr. Anand Kumar for such a excellent work, that Anil Kumar for such excellent work and in-depth study on education, and it's in relation to the tribes that we are talking about. Because I've given you my detailed note, can you please read that out for me? Please, I would be obliged if you can kindly do that for me. I have 102 fever, please. Gosh, can you please?
Okay, ma'am. So, can we read your message on the behalf of you?
Yeah, please do that.
Okay, okay. So I have sent the lecture draft of the Professor Bhavna Pandey, madam, to Professor Sunita Yadav. I think she will be read the message of Professor Bhavna Pandey, madam, which has sent by Professor. Sunita, madam, you are here?
Yeah, am you audible?
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah, good evening, everyone of you all. The According to the Vikas sir, I am just delivering. I am just reading the message of our principal madam called as Bhavna Pandey madam. I am just giving a view what she were understood and exactly what madam wanted to deliver to us. The According to the Anil Kumar Vikas Vishwas sir, sorry, what exactly that madam were a draft. I am just reading on behalf of her. Thank you very much for inviting to the Bhavna Pandey madam for this excellent book discussion session. First of all, she wanted to congratulate to the entire team of India Research Scholar Association, and she is really a honor and is being a part of this session. Her respect goes to the Geeta Dharampal Madam, Dean of Research, Gandhi Research Foundation, Jalgaon, Maharashtra, former head History Department, South Asian Institute, Heidelberg University, and the member of Governing Council, ICSSR, New Delhi. Respected Professor Biswajit Ghosh, prestigious sociologist and the former Vice Chancellor, University of Burdwan, West Bengal, and the panelist Professor Ramakrishnan Dharmar, Professor Prashant Kumar Panigrahi, and Dr. Gagan Bihari Sahu, and Professor Jyotiraj Pathak. Once again, she congratulates to the Professor Anil Kumar Vishwasa. Sir, according to the, actually, Sir is the author of this book, who has contributed his rich literatures on the right to the education of a tea tribes, feasibility, and reality. When madam was reading this entire draft, when she was reading the book, she divided this chapter into the 6th segment. According to the discussion, the various contemporary challenges and the possibility for those people who were not part of the mainstream society in India. Tribals face many challenges, as we all know. In their studies, lives for food, education, health facility, market facility, and connectivity. They are living traditionally and avoiding the modern life. As we all know, education is the key progress and the prosperity. For those reasons, for the government passed the Act of the Parliament, which was enacted on the 4th August 2009. As we all know that the government were passed, the Parliamentary Act was came into the force of 2009, and also mentioned in the fundamental duties the duties of all parents and guardian to send their children into the age group of 6 to 14 years to the school. This is all that we all are knowing. The education, it is the key for the success. And Madam has rightly mentioned that the parents and the guardian, they have to send their child, those who, especially the age group of between 6 to 14. The right of education is also a part of the fundamental right. Instead of Article 21A as the Constitutions of India to provide the free and compulsory education to all children age of 6 to 14 years. But we are discussing here the rights to the tribe education. They are not connected to the internet, communication, modern tools, modern lives. According to the TRAI report, by December 2023, the number of internet users in India crossed 936.16 million. It is not a small number, as we all know. Mentioning the record, the data that comes under the 936.16 million, it is such a huge number. But in rural areas, only 23% of people were using the internet. And the tribal dominated area, only 5 to 6% of the people were using the internet. So we can assume and presume the number of the people, those who were there in the villages, how less number of percentage they were connected to the people. Madam, according to the madam, in the 21st century, education and information depend upon the internet and computer. Yes, madam, rightly, we all know that. Now we people were using most of our work were based on the computer and internet, but they were mostly unaware of this. Tribal society is protecting, but the basic of today's development and progress, it's not a labor but exploitation of resources, use of technology, and accumulation of capital, from which public welfare program only so that the social welfare can be pretended. That is why the society went backward and the resources becomes the passions of the people familiarly with the modern method. He started such a race for development whose greed has no end. And yes, Ajit sir has mentioned in his book, as we all know that it is the horse race with no goal, because they also not having a path where to go, what to achieve, and where to stand. And according to the madam, such workers knows to stand behind because they neither have the technology nor the capital. If you don't have a knowledge, first of all, about your rights, you don't know what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So Anil Vikas sir have rightly mentioned about the content related to the technology and capital. Furthermore, madam has added the problem with him is they does not even want to encourage or engage in the horse of racing, does not want to exploit the resources because understand the concept of sustainable development. Nevertheless, not adopting such development processes will preserve civilization, culture, and the social values. However, the tribal society will be a completely cut off from the social scenarios running on the path of modernity. And this is somewhere it is totally wrong, where people, such a less number of the people were connected with the internet. They were not knowing what is right, what is wrong. They were not knowing what is their rights. So definitely this kind of the problem they were facing. Furthermore, the madam was saying about the Anil Kumar Vikas's book, the government is making the efforts to improve this, and civil society is working in this area, like education, health, human rights protections, women upgrade programs, financial assistance, and the fellowship programs are being implemented by the civil society in this area. And if we'll talk about the government are also running the special scheme for their development so that the tribal society can be promoted and developed. However, exploitation also occurs in the name of development because their land is bought at the work price. Total wage are not paid in a small case. Imprisoned in a jail. These are also all the problem mentioned in this research paper. Such a fabulous research paper, sir. The tribal development issues have been prominently debated since India independence, for which the central and the state government developed the various provisions. Government of India, central and state having the numerous number of the provision, but as we all know that, okay, in some state, tribal areas have declared the specific reservation and the residence so that anyone cannot be interfere with their culture and social relations. Somewhere they must be protected culturally, socially, and administratively, but modern development parameter must be compromised. If the development path is to be approved for them, nevertheless, modernity and development are different from each society and culture, which can be evaluated from the various point of view. However, the government has autonomy to the tribal society in many dimensions and also implementing the scheme for their development. But due to their residency in the remote area, neither the full benefit of the scheme nor their autonomy are known. Because we all know that even though you were not connected to the city, they were not connected to the people, they were not connected to the people to allow there. So definitely they are very far to reach to touch the modernization. Furthermore, the madam was said about the Vikas sir's book, Anil Kumar Viswa sir's book. In such situation, civil society's role increases because organizations knows that area and the work for the public welfare. In his research paper, the analytical study has been done to explain the role of civil society in tribal development and their contribution to the social upliftment. There is no need to protect their culture further, so strong that it can be preserved its value. In the jail of India, the most innocent people of a tribal society are surviving their sentences. This number is more than 10,000 in Madhya Pradesh alone. Such a big number, sir. Your discovery definitely will enlighten the different, your study will take us somewhere else, which we were not knowing. Definitely we have to go through inside the book. As madam said that the number which is there, the people, the innocent tribal societies people, those who are surviving in the jail, it is only about, I'm talking Madhya Pradesh, that is of the 10,000, which is the large number. The ground of accusing them are the small, because one thing is clear, that the tribal society loves anyone the most, then it is the land and the forest. It is proved that the book of Ayodhya Singh that the tribals started fighting against the British rule from the time of establishment of the East India Company. He fought a total of 125 small and the big wars with the British. Their culture and the civilization is a unique culture that is unstoppable. Even today, we teachers a lot to the modern man. In the name of their progress and advancement, their culture needs to be managed and not controlled. For their development, the government should conduct many other stealth projects. At the same time, the projects that are being operated also need to be considered whether they are being implemented in a practice or not. National Education Policy 2020 has provided the various possibilities regarding the tribal educations and their cultures. This education policy protects the value, language of the tribal people and promote their mother language as well, which is necessary. Steps for the tribal for the government side. Modi government has launched the various policies for the tribals in budget outlay. For a Ministry of Tribal Affairs in the financial year 23-24, which was increased by 70.69% to rupees 12,461 CR compared to the financial year of 2022 to 23. Prime Minister launches PM Jayanti Adivasi Naya Maha Abhiyan, that is PM Janman, with a budget of around rupees 24,000 crore of Jan Jayanti Gaurav Divas. The President of India inaugurated the Eklavya Model Residential School of Kalina, the Odisha, the scholarship to 32.22 lakhs tribal student top DBT from the 1st April 2023 to 27th December 2023. So this is from Madam side once again, Bhawna Pandey Madam. She is saying, I would like to congratulate to the entire team of IRSA, panelists and the participant. You all have listened to Madam, on behalf of Madam, to me patiently. Thank you so much for inviting to the Madam, Bhawna Madam, on this platform for this book discussion session. Thank you so much, ma'am, Vikas sir, and everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is
It is a
this is the academic jajba we can see in the Professor Bhavna Madam. When I have called to Madam, so Madam just had taken the medicine and prepared for the delivered lecture, but the health is not allowed to ma'am. So ma'am has sent me the draft English and Hindi version to me, and told to me that because I have written the draft, and if possible, then read it because I have prepared this. So thank you so much, Bhavna madam, and so I will not take much and more time. And one line I want to share here: uh, our academia is surviving uh, uh, with the work of like our Bhavna madam, because we have just seen here that uh, she is lying in her bed, but she has joined this session. She has fever, but she has joined this session. So thank you so much, madam. Thank you, and sure we will be learn a lot of things uh, to your this work. So again, thank you so much, madam. And just I want to invite to the author of the book, to Professor Anil Kumar Biswajit sir, for the brief remark about the book.
Okay, good evening to all dignitaries in virtual platform and scholars, those who are present for here the observation of panelists and dignitaries. It is my privilege that because on behalf of Indian Research Scholar Association organizing this type of event, and I'm very happy that because give such opportunity for me for learning. Actually, I am not say more. I today is I think it is my day of learning. So I am wanted to learn from dignitaries, eminent scholars, eminent panelists, eminent sociologist is there, eminent historian is there, and also eminent all. I think I just to say that all branches of social sciences, eminent scholars from all branches of social sciences are there. So it is, I think, it is the time for me. I'm just hearing the observation of these eminent personalities, and just I say two or three sentences about my books. Actually, the book titled "Right to Education of Tea Tribes: Feasibilities and Realities." It is prepared from the findings of a major research project titled "Impact of Right to Education Act 2009 on Tribal People in Tea Gardens of Western Duars region." A study of selected tea gardens from Jalpaiguri and Alipurduar district of West Bengal. And the funding, the research program, the research project I concluded with the assistance of funding and others assistance of Indian Council of Social Science Research. And so I thanks to the Indian Council of Social Science Research for such assistance. And in my works, sir, Biswajit sir already say that I used the term tea tribes. Yes, I purposely used the term tea tribes. Actually, the term used by government of Assam for the tribal population, those who are working in tea gardens in Assam region. But in West Bengal, the term is not used as tea tribes, but I purposely used that this term because of I think the nature of tribal communities. Both are more or less same. One thing is here that in northern part of West Bengal, that is western towards region, Alipurduar, Jalpaiguri regions, there is Nepali communities dominated, but there are so many tribal communities within Nepalis who are dominating the tea industries in northern part of West Bengal. So I used the term tea tribes, and in my books in one chapter, I just give an outline. One chapter, I say about major tribes, those who are working in tea gardens in Duars region, and in another one chapter, I say about the tea gardens of Duars region in Western Duars region. That means Duars region start from Jalpaiguri district. That means after Siliguri, and it continue up to Assam, Lower Assam. That means up to Guwahati, below Guwahati, and the eastern side of the region is falls in Assam state, and the western side of Duars is falls in West Bengal side. And in my study area was West Bengal, Western Duars region, which is falls in Alipurduar and Jalpaiguri district. And I studied one or two gardens from Kalimpong district and one schools from Kalimpong district. But Kalimpong is not under Duars, but I studied the area because of the students from Jalpaiguri, gardens from Jalpaiguri districts, those who are studying in Nepali medium schools, they are studied in Kalimpong, in I think it was a Bagrakot school, situated near to Siliguri. So I take this, I include the school in my study. And in another chapter, I studied about the tea gardens, and another chapter in third, I think a third or fourth chapter, I tells about the education policy since independence to till date, I say about NEP 2020. So this is my works, and I wanted to stop here to thanks to all dignitaries, all panelists, to the professor. Just I mentioned few names. Professor. Professor Geeta Dharampal, Madam, Dean of Research, Gandhi Research Foundation, Jalgaon, Maharashtra, and former head, Department of History, South Asian Institute, Heidelberg University, and members of ICSSR, New Delhi. And also I convey my gratitude to my ex-Vice Chancellor, sir, and also eminent sociologist, Professor Biswajit Ghosh, sir. And I also convey my gratitude to Professor Bhawna Singh, Principal Dyal Singh Evening College, for his participation in the event, discarding all physical challenges. So I thanks again, and I also convey my welcome to all my panelists, Professor Ramakrishnan Dharmar, Dean of Arts and Head Department of Political Science, Madurai, Kamaraj University, Tamil Nadu, Professor Prashna Kumar Panigrahi, Department of Political Science, Rajiv Gandhi University, Arunachal Pradesh, Dr. Gagan Bihari Sahu, Director, Center for Social Studies, Gujarat, and my beloved friend, Professor Jyotiraj Pathak, Department of Political Science, Burdwan University, Assam, for their participation in the discussion of my book, on my book. So thanks to all. I stop here, and I hope for your, I think for your best wishes from the side of the organization. Thank you, all.
Yes, okay, thank you, sir. Ripaji. Ripaji, can you listen us? Oh, okay. Please unmute yourself.
Yes, Vikasa.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vikasa, for letting me share some stage with you all. Today, on 29 June, and we are discussing over a book written by Professor Anil Kumar Biswas, sir. Sir, it's an hello.
Yes. Your voice is
Sir,
clear.
sir, the work.
Yes,
So the
ma'am,
book.
you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So the book is an incredible work, and it will definitely going to make an impeccable mark in the academia. Sir, as it was emphasized by Dr. Geeta ma'am as well as Ghosh sir, that it will going to help to the most marginalized class of the society, the tribal people. So it will definitely going to help them a lot. Thank you so much, sir, for this remarkable book, Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas, sir. Thank you so much. And today I got an opportunity to invite a very respectable and esteemed guest who is a panelist for today's session, Professor Ramakrishnan Dharmar, sir. Welcome, sir. I like to render my heartfelt welcome to you on behalf of ILSA family. Sir is Professor Ramakrishna Dharmar, sir, is a Dean, Faculty of Arts, Professor, and Head of Political Science Department, Madurai Kamaraj University, Tamil Nadu. Sir, it's an honor to have you here. Sir, is Professor Ramakrishnan Dharmar sir is with us? Vikas sir? Sir is
Yes,
online?
yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes, yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, it's a great honor for all the IRSA members and the faculty members and the esteemed guests of honors which are with us right now. Thank you so much, sir, for your presence. And sir, this is my request to kindly impart some valuable views on this book and definitely an incredible work done by Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas, sir, Department of Political Science, University of Burdwan. Sir, thank you so much, and please, sir, over to you, sir, and please impart some valuable words. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. Good evening to everyone present here.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
At the outset, I have to thank the Indian Research Scholars Association, the team members of this Indian Research Scholars Association, especially Dr. Vikash Kumar and his team for inviting me for as a panelist for this program. I can quote that the most respectable can Miss Rifa, can you mute?
Yes, sir, I am. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. The first three most respectable speakers, right from Madam Geeta, Dharampal, and the chief guest professor and the former vice chancellor Biswajit Ghosh, and Madam Bhawna madam. Really, it was a wonderful information I gathered from these three eminent scholars. So with this, I appreciate and my best wishes for my good friend Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas, Department of Political Science of Burdwan University, for having created a wonderful contribution to this, not only to the students community. It is for the betterment of the underprivileged community. See, actually, historically, the tribal communities are the resources, opportunities, and opportunities to access education. These are all very, very difficult for these tribal communities. We have seen that act, the right to education, the education for all, but at the same time, we have crossed 75 years and we are celebrating India's 75 years of India's independence. But at the same time, we are not at all reached 75% of literacy for the tribal people. This is a very big question to think of how these underprivileged people are facing the problem, as rightly pointed out by the former Vice Chancellor, Professor Biswajit Ghosh, how they are taking much risk for leading a simple life. So such a difficult condition they are. Even for the census report, in 1961, their literacy was 8.5. But in the latest census, 2011, it says about only 63.1% is from the tribal people, tribal community. Even from them, The female percentage of literacy is 54, but the male percentage is 71.7. But it is very difficult. So I'm really appreciate that because of this particular reason. My friend Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas has taken a very good effort in finding the reality. That's what he has put the word, the feasibility and reality. It's a really wonderful terminology he has put on his book, The Right to Education to the Tea Tribes, Feasibility and Reality. Even for me also, the term tea tribes is new for me. In our southern part of the states, we don't have such terminologies. Simply, we can say the tribes with their names. That's all. But the tea tribes is new for me. And also, I have to thank Mr. The President Vikash Kumar for sharing the book of Dr. Anil Kumar, from which I found many things. How Dr. Anil Kumar has done a very good work. Really, I can say that this is going to be an important literature for the studies on the tribal communities, because actually the tribal people are having very rich tradition, their own unique culture, their heritage, the unique lifestyle and their customs. But though we are past 75 years of independence, though we are having lot of efforts to make them to developing on the aspect of education, the effort is comparatively very less, very less. Because if you say all are to be educated, the underprivileged people should be given more importance, more additional privileges for making them to bring equal. He has rightly pointed out in the conclusion, because I'm not only the panelist to discuss about his book. 3 more panelists are there, so I have to cut short very short area, so that I'm discussing. I want to say very few things on the book. When I read all the things, he has given 6 chapters. The first, second, and third are giving very good introductory profile of the tribes in India, the tribes in West Bengal, and also the tea tribes especially. But 4 gives a very elaborative study on the constitutional provisions given by the constitutional provisions given to the scheduled tribes, the scheduled areas, and also the educational system and how the tribal communities to be given education right from the colonial period. The committees which were established by the colonial period till the new education policy. Here, see, if anyone wants to know about the education system in India, it's very simple to read Dr. Anil Kumar's book on this. So such a wonderful collection has been given by the author. And also he has given about the total history of the tea tribes, the tribes in West Bengal, and elaborately a brief introduction on the Indian tribes. And also he has given many articles, constitutional provisions. What are these? Are all the articles giving more protection to the livelihood of the tribes, like that. And also the chapter 5 and 6 are really very powerful weapon given by Dr. Anil Kumar, because these two chapters, the fifth and sixth chapters, are really giving more insights. The title itself of the chapter 5 is the insights from the field. Insights from the field. Though there were 145 tea gardens, he has selected 36 tea gardens. Very rationally, he has done the work. Very rationally. After reading that, I came to found that the 18 point something percentage of the tribal people are living in that particular area, particular region, region. So he has very beautifully selected the area and collected the data from 36 tea gardens. 36 tea gardens. Even in every one by one, from beginning to the end, 36 tea gardens. The schools in the 36 tea gardens he has visited, and he has interviewed the teachers and the students and the parents. So he has given very beautiful insights from the 36 tea gardens. In the final concluding chapter, he has given enormous number of suggestions, conclusions based on his own suggestions. Really, it is wonderful. Not will be wonderful. It should be placed in the table of the policymakers. These are all the things to be followed. These are all because providing education to all is easy, but providing education to the underprivileged, especially the people from the tea garden, he has beautifully rationalized that how the tribes from the tea garden are more vulnerable than other tribes. So rightly pointed out by the former Vice Chancellor also. So as far as my concern, he has given a number of suggestions. What are the ways to remove this type of vulnerabilities from that place? What are the things to be given? So after reading all the things, just I wanted to add one thing, that the tribal students should be given some facility to visit all over India. They have to have the mindset on to mingle with the mainstream societies. So he has given a lot of things. He has given a lot of reforms. These are all the reforms to be followed by, to be adopted by the government to empower or develop the social development, because education is a major indicator for the socio-economic development. So education must be given to everyone. But at the same time, the inability to send their students is also one of the important reasons for the parents, the migrant parents. Because we know that when we talk about the tribes, they are their own locality, they are their own land. But as far as the tea garden, parents, they have migrated from their own land to this tea garden. So almost they lost their individuality, their unique lifestyle. their rich tradition, culture, customs. They are in between their own culture and the modernity. So this is the duty of the government. This is the duty of the state on the basis of the constitutional provision, Article 342, the protection of how the indigenous people should be protected. So such a wonderful collection can be read if anyone wants to read the right to education, to the T tribes, feasibility and reality. With this, I want to conclude because I know that the time is very limited. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your words and the valuable things that you shared with all of us. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Vikas, sir,
Yes.
over to you, sir.
Prajesh ji, over to you.
First of all, thank you to Mr. Vikas, coordinator of this program, IRSA. I would like to invite Professor Prashna Kumar Panigrahi, sir. He is a professor in Department of Political Science, Rajiv Gandhi University, Rono Hills, Doimuk, Arunachal Pradesh. Sir has also worked as professor in Igantu, Madhya Pradesh. Sir has published several research papers and chapters in books. So I hope during this online book discussions, all the participants of this online book discussions will get its Prashna by Professor Prashna Kumar Panigrahi, sir. Welcome, sir. Very, very welcome. Kindly enlighten us with your wisely words. Sir, over to you.
Good evening to you all participants. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Fine. At the very outset, I would like to express my thanks to Vikasji for inviting me to be a part and parcel of this discussion session on the book published by Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas on his research project. Respected dignitaries, esteemed panelists, dear research scholars and students, and the special person of the occasion, Dr. Biswas, Anil Kumar Biswas, on whose book we are discussing. Well, it's a great pleasure on my part to come to know that this Indian Research Scholars Association is actively initiating this type of academic discussions. It's a praiseworthy effort, and I'm really thankful to all the organizers, the coordinators, President Madam, especially Geeta Dharampal Madam, and all those who are involved in this pious effort to have discussions, debates, and talk about the academic progress in our country. I'm sure this Research Scholars Association will go a long way in including more and more activities into their agenda and facilitating more participants into its domain to make it more vibrant and useful for the academia. Much has been talked about the marginalization of the tribal population, which is a historical fact, as has been discussed by Professor Biswajit Ghosh, Bhawna Madam, then the President of IRSA, and my previous panelist also. I will not go deep into those domains. I consider that the research work of Dr. Biswas positively is an addition to the domain of knowledge, specifically of the marginalized, right from the works of plantation rats to the present one. Several works has been conducted, several research has been conducted on the tea tribals. I, being in Northeast India, though I belong to Odisha, I partially studied in Nehu, Shillong, and then joined to Arunachal. Then Arunachal University subsequently became Rajiv Gandhi Central University. Has a close interaction and opportunity to interact with the tea tribes, because our university is just 10 kilometers away from a plantation area, a tea garden, through which we often travel to the market. So it is so close to us. Further, there are several students from amongst the tea tribes join our university, being at the very proximity, and we have direct exposure and interaction with the students at the postgraduate level with the tea tribal students. When we talk about right to education, there could be a small filler that as per the UGC norm, we have the EWS category of seats which are to be given, economically weaker sections. And you will be surprised to learn that most of the students coming from tea tribes, from the neighboring areas, they do not know that there is a provision for them also where they can very well be accommodated as persons from the economically weaker section, but they are not aware about it. So that tells the long story of their privileges in the domain of education. If you look at a tea garden, I'm sure Dr. Biswas personally must have experienced how difficult a proposition is for the students of or the children of the tea gardens to go to the school and study. Many may not be knowing that tea gardens are very, very vast areas spread over several hundred acres of land. Sometimes it goes to 1,000 acres. So in these vast areas, if there is no school facilitated by the owners or the organizer of the owner of the tea garden, within the tea garden itself, it could be a distance of several kilometers for the students to go to study in the primary education section even. No doubt, right from the beginning, another important phenomena in the context of tea tribals is that probably in the context of India, the tea tribals happens to be the first private sector employees in our country. They are the privileged private sector employees of the country. They may be the first lot. So if you look at the, tea workers in the tea gardens of Assam, basically, I have the experience of Assam, then you will find they are the migrant tribal population from these three states, that is Odisha, Bengal, West Bengal, and the undivided Bihar. So most of the tea garden workers belong to Mundas, Santalas, Hods, likewise. So these people got migrated through induction or through force. In certain cases, force applied. In certain cases, allurement was given to them for a better life. But once they got displaced from their homeland, they reached another land, isolated, dejected, and displaced from their own earth, own habitation, and were placed in a new area. Nevertheless, they continued to have their traditional mores, ethos, but that ethos got multicultured, because in one tea garden you will find several groups of tribals who were migrated, were living in one tea garden itself. That's why these tea garden people, even now, after 75 years of our independence, steeped with traditional mores and ethos, superstitions, and their traditional healing system. Despite the fact that the tea garden management always attempted to provide the basic necessities of healthcare or availability of ration to them, but the plight of the tea garden population could be observed when you will visit their locations, visit their habitations, how poverty-stricken they are and how they are far from the paradigms of development. They are marginalized to the extent that, despite being tribal populations, specifically in the case of Assam, they are still struggling to have their tribal status. They are not getting the benefits of their tribal origin. So certain facilities are being extended by the government of Assam as tea tribes, but being confined to the tea gardens, because their habitations are mostly within the tea garden itself, they are disconnected from the local population. There is a basic question of identity crisis. These people are neither the tribals as they were used to be in their own homeland, and when they migrated to the tea garden, they are not getting the same tribal status, and the identity is diluted to a great extent. That's why you'll find their languages are very, very unique in a sense. They speak a mixed language of their original language with that of certain linguistic interventions from the areas when they are resettled, and they also are intermixed with the local culture, still away from the local culture. So they do not get the due as a population, despite the fact that they have continued over there, settled over there, contributed for the economy of the state of their inhabitation. But in turn, they are not getting the due what is they deserve. That's why there is a cultural dilution, displacement, and at the same time, the social ethos are also diluted. So the tea tribes acquire a distinct status. That's why in Assam it is often being used as tea tribe. So all their tribal identities are merged to one tribal identity that is called tea tribes. That's why if you look at the educational system, because one of my students worked on the tea gardens political participation. So they experience a very unique, type of participate in the political sphere when it comes to electoral politics only. Rest of the time, what they are supposed to be benefited of the political system is very, very negligible in nature. Only during the election days, they are being gathered, they are being incorporated, as well as they are being included into the political activities. After that, they are again back to the normal, and they continue to remain as tea tribals, isolated, you can say, live there in their own domain without having much inclusion into the social environment. That's why they develop a unique type of identity, unique type of culture. When it comes to the dynamics of development, you will find, because all the population in the tea gardens, they get accommodation also, and the basic facilities. That's why they always live within the tea garden. But when it comes to education, the home environment is not conducive. As I have interacted with the students, they always refer to that most of the tea garden workers are alcoholic in their way of life. As a result, social violence or domestic violence are very, very common phenomena in the midst of tea tribe population. That's why the students do not get the necessary opportunities, necessary environment to develop their cognitive faculties and advancing in the domain of academics. Another impediment comes on their way of pursuing higher education is that easy employment. Though they get very negligible amount in comparison to the today's skyrocketing inflation, their wages are very, very small in nature, very you can say the amount is very less in comparison to the wages outside. But as they get the job immediately and easily, being a part and parcel of the tea garden, so there is a high rate of dropouts, because for their job, it is basically a manual type of job where they do not need any sophistication or professionalization. That's why even the younger workers you will find in the tea gardens reaching after a particular minimum age, they get easy engagement in the tea gardens. That's why their attraction towards or their initiative towards indulging in higher academic activities are minimal in nature. They are socioeconomically backward from the family point of view, and when it comes to education, the education is minimal in nature, and there are high rate of dropouts in the amongst the tea garden laborers. That's why when we talk about inclusive development, there is the need to extend the opportunity for those tea garden workers to pursue their higher education, and for that purpose there is the need of extension of adequate infrastructural facilities within the tea gardens, by which could be at the proximity, because you will find in the tea gardens, both the members, wife and husband, are the parents of the children. Both of them are engaged in the tea garden activities, so they do not get the due care and attention from the parents also. That's why necessary educational infrastructural facilities needs to be created within the proximity of the tea gardens, by which they could be getting the privilege of joining into the educational institutions and acquiring academic degrees, pursuing their higher education, and opening up their cognitive faculties, which could go a long way for bringing the tea tribals into the domain of the larger society, which could really go a long way in contributing and catering to the need of the society, because it's a very huge population. There are several MLAs are also, there are MLA constituencies in the tea gardens also, and they are having MLAs and ministers in Assam also. That's why, keeping that in mind, the population, there needs to be provided with adequate opportunities, and their grievances needs to be addressed. And the aspect of superstition, which is very much prominent in the tea gardens, where they practice the traditional healing practice, despite the availability of the primary health centers, they do not go to those primary health centers. Rather, they go to their priests and ojhas, who do all those traditional healing activities. So that needs to be also addressed, by which the superstitions could be done away with, and they could be included into the modern healthcare facilities. So I'm sure Dr. Biswas must have worked very hard in collecting data. There is another important message for the research scholars who are interested to conduct research on the tea garden workers, that getting data from the tea garden workers is a very, very difficult proposition, because most of the workers work for the whole day, right from 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. They get into the tea garden for plucking the tea leaves and return at the evening. When they return after being exhausted, most of them are prone to go for alcohol. So getting the responses from the respondents is a Herculean task, as explained by my student who was working on the tea garden workers, so far their political participation is concerned. Because of the inadequacy of the educational facilities, you will find their political awareness is also minimal. It is, drawn that most of the people, the tea garden workers, even do not know, except the prominent minister's name, they do not know their names of the ministers, their local leaders, even their own MLAs also. So this is the lacuna, so far the awareness is concerned, which needs to be taken care or addressed. So really providing the educational facilities. Though we have the right to education as a fundamental right, to have to ensure free and compulsory education, but a big question mark remains, that is it really being implemented in the true spirit of the Constitution? I think if you will ponder over it, then we can understand what are the inadequacies are there, so far the implementation of the policies are concerned, and how the split of the tea garden workers could be addressed with due attention towards their educational facilities. So I really very, very thankful to you all for giving me this opportunity to participate in this discussion. Special thanks goes to the Indian Research Scholars Association, and thank you all for your patient hearing to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. You have enlightened us all with your wiseful words. You have started your lecture with, you have given IRSA, Indian Research Scholars Association, a task to more activity in future in academia. I, on behalf of IRSA, assure you we are indulge in more activity in future in academia. You talked about right to education, EWS category, and you have talked about the book in details. At last, you have given task to all the researchers of field study. We have take the knowledge of field study from the book. You have enlightened us in a very detailed manner. Thank you so much, sir, from bottom of my heart. We will be very grateful to you. You have given your valuable time to IRSA. Thank you so much, sir. Over to Mr. Yeah, thank you, sir. Over to Mr. Vikas, President IRSA.
Okay, Anjana ji, can you listen us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Please continue.
धन्यवाद सर। सभी को सादर प्रणाम। मैं अंजना ठाकुर शोधार्थी, हिमाचल प्रदेश केंद्रीय विश्वविद्यालय धर्मशाला। मैं इस बुक डिस्कशन के अगले पैनलिस्ट डॉक्टर गगन बिहारी साहू सर को आमंत्रित करना चाहूंगी। डॉक्टर साहू सेंटर फॉर सोशल स्टडीज गुजरात के निदेशक हैं। सर, आप शैक्षणिक जगत में अपनी अलग पहचान रखते हैं। आपके निर्देशन में कई प्रोजेक्ट कार्य हुए हैं जो नीतियों के निर्माण में अत्यंत लाभकारी सिद्ध हुए हैं। आपके शोध पत्र लगातार राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय जर्नल में प्रकाशित होते रहते हैं और आप लगातार कई शैक्षणिक संस्थानों में व्याख्यान देते रहते हैं। मैं ज्यादा समय ना लेकर आपसे आग्रह करूंगी कि आप अपने व्याख्यान से हम सभी को लाभान्वित करें। डॉक्टर साहू सर, ये मंच आपके लिए।
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, good evening to all the dignitaries and Professor Biswajit Ghosh, Professor Geeta Dharampal, Professor Bhawna Pandey, Professor Prashna Kumar Panigrahi, Professor Ramakrishnan Dharmar, and my panelist, Professor Jyotiraj Pathak. So it is a nice opportunity, and I must thank Vikas Kumar, who has invited me and giving me a chance to discuss on a book written by Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas on a very, very timely and very challenging issue, in fact. So after listening to my co-panelist and Professor Biswajit Ghosh, Professor Pandey, it's a very mesmerizing to learn about the tribes and the kind of situation, the kind of socio-economic deprivation they lead their life. And I feel I also work on the tribes of Gujarat, and that means a few tribes of Maharashtra. And after listening to all my co-panelists, the dignitaries of today's discussions, we are not far to say that the tribal people, they born in poverty, they live in poverty and die in poverty, and education is one of the important factors behind all these things. So let's come to that means today's book written by Professor Anil Kumar Biswas. It's very interesting, and being an economist, I'm a man of quantitative methods techniques, and my inferences, my understanding my argument or my suggestions or comments will be basically based on the kind of data, the kind of methodology, the kind of inferences Professor Biswas has drawn in its book. So let me start with whatever I understood from his this very challenging task. Let me start with the conceptuality, how he has conceived this book, how he has conceived the issues of a very that means deprived of people, and which has definitely a very strong policy intervention if there is a willpower. But Professor Panigrahi was telling that, do you have a political will to bring these people in our development that means umbrella? So there is a conceptual clarity, and the issues are very well defined, and the issues are that he has rationalized the issue that the research is very much needed for this particular tribe. So overall, I can see that the issue dealt in the books is significant, especially in the context of tribal population in general and tea tribes in particular. And the way he has designed, Professor Biswas has designed the book, that is marvelous. He has divided into 6 chapters. The first chapter talks about the introduction of the issues, then objectives, then the research questions, and there is also a review of literature sections. And the second chapter talks about that means the different constitutional arrangement, the provisions of the education's policies, and another chapter talks about the kind of tribes in this particular 2 districts, and basically the work in the tea gardens. And he also gave a very good analysis based on the data collected from the sample schools. And the last chapter is the conclusion. I think that is more than enough for a book. So, but I have that means a few that means observations I would like to share here. Maybe in the next piece of work, Professor Anil Kumar Biswas may include because I am sure he is continuing in this particular academic issues. So in the review of literature sections, Professor Biswas has cited so many works, starting from the policy level works, starting from that means the different geographical area covering a different kind of tribes and the efforts made by the state and all these things. But one question is really got stuck with me is that, do you have a political will to make this, to improve the educational achievement of the tribal population in India, and especially the kind of tribes he has explained? So where that political will is not taking place, where the state is becoming failure, where the civil society organizations are that means failure in making this issue, where there is a lack of economic provision, where there is a lack of infrastructure facilities. So what is the hindering factors? Perhaps the review in these angles would add more value to the manuscript, and then Professor Biswas can think maybe in subsequent writings can bring this kind of issue for the value additions with the existing literature. And the second important points that means I can also see is that, see, he was talking about 145 tea garden, and from this 145 tea garden, he has selected 36 tea garden, and within the 36 tea garden, there are 18 schools. So that itself says a very big, that itself gives a very big question marks to the provision of universal and free compulsory education to the tribes. To what extent it is possible? If the sample is 36 tea garden and there are 18 schools, so that itself is a big question mark in the provision of our primary or secondary educations. Now, that means one point I would like to that means draw, or maybe it's basically my observations that uh, he has given a complete calculations of the enrollment of students in these 18 schools. So by doing that, basically we are saying that there is an enrollment, there is an increase in enrollment, and there is a decrease in enrollment. But though it gives an indication of dropout, but at what level and at where they are getting drop out, it is not merging from the analysis. Though he has captured very elaborately in the conclusion sections the different factors behind the dropout of tribal children. Perhaps few direct interview with the tribal families would have given a perception of the dropout of their kids, and it would have given a rich analysis to the books, and it would have given more insightful information for further policy interventions. And one more thing, perhaps somewhere I found is that see, when we talk about, Professor Biswas was also talking about the improve in the socio-economic conditions of the tea tribe. But when it comes to the analysis, that particular point is not adequately addressed in the books, and maybe the time where Professor Biswas has collected the information, that is the corona epidemic times, that may be one of the important factors which might have restricted the collection of primary data directly at the household level. But nevertheless, his conclusions are more powerful, and the conclusion itself is more than enough, which talks about the weightage of his books. And if this books is reach out to academicians and especially to the district administration and those who are at the taking the policy decisions, maybe the fate of these tea tribes will improve. So once again, I congratulate Professor Biswas for such a beautiful piece of his work, and definitely it will be a useful and handy book those who are working on this right to education and its impact on the tribal people. And one more thing, those who that means in one book it is like a dictionary. He has listed so many policies, he has listed so many things about each and every individual tribes, and this will be the reference point. And thank you, and I congratulate Professor Biswas for his beautiful work.
वेरी वेरी इंफॉर्मेटिव सर। आपने इस पुस्तक में बहुत ही गहरी समझ के साथ प्रकाश डाला है। थैंक यू सो मच सर।
Thank you. Over to you, Sunita madam.
Yeah, good evening everyone. Good evening, sir. I delight to introduce our next panelist, Professor Jyotiraj sir, who has warmly accepted our invitation to join us today's session. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome you, sir, to the special event. We are truly honored by your presence today and we are thrilled to have you with us. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Smita madam. Respected co-panelist, most respected President of today's session, Professor Geeta Dharmpal, Chief Guest, my revered teacher, Professor Biswajit Ghosh, then guest of honor, Professor Bhawna Pandey madam, and my co-panelist, Ramakrishnan Dharmar is a good friend of mine. Even the author, Biswas, is a good friend of mine. And then, yes, respected co-panelist, Panigrahi sir from Rajiv Gandhi University, and the latest one, Gagan Bihari Sahu from Gujarat. So it's a pleasure on my part to address the gathering, the esteemed gathering. और ऐसे भी अभी तो हम लास्ट में इतना कहने के लिए कुछ शायद रहा नहीं, और फिर भी आई विल ट्राई टू एड्रेस द गैदरिंग. बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है एट ऑल इंडिया लेवल. इट्स लाइक for all of you, and particularly scholars के लिए एक बुक रिव्यू सेशन जैसा है, क्योंकि 2 घंटा हो गया. आई थिंक इट्स enough of 2 hours lecture so that you can have a good idea about a book, how to review a particular book.
Sir, sorry for the interruption. Jyotiraj sir, sorry for the interruption. Your voice is cracking, sir. Voice is not clear, sir.
Yes. Okay, actually it's raining in Assam.
Okay.
That might be one reason.
Okay.
It's raining in Assam. I think now it's okay, isn't it? Acha. So yes, so again I must say that it's a nice initiative on the part of ISRA. So now let me come to this main agenda. So this right to education of tea tribes by Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas, it contains 6 chapters. And especially for the research scholars, it's like a model for your PhD thesis. You can just copy this model, that a good thesis must contain at least 6 chapters. So there will be one introduction, then theme of the profile of that particular area if you are going for a direct interview method, primary method, and then overview of the particular problem, overview of the area, and discussion, and at last conclusion and policy recommendation. So that is the model one should follow, especially the young research scholars. They should follow this model. So with this model, even Dr. Biswas, it's a MRP, major research project on the part of ICSSR, and I think he did justice by doing extensive study on the very pertinent issue of Right to Education Act with special reference to tea tribes. So whenever we are talking about tea tribes, or for that matter, that scheduled tribes, ST, as we always say, ST, they are 8% of the total population, and if you go by West Bengal, they are below 6%, 5.8% only. So definitely they are one of the most marginalized community throughout the country. I have a fair idea because I belong to Assam, and the whole this valley, Brahmaputra Valley, which is going beyond up to that West Bengal, this is the main place of, say, for the tea gardens. So when he started his research, Dr. Biswas, he is talking about the Duars. Duars is an area, हिंदी में हम उसको बोल सकते हैं कि दरवाजा. It's a दरवाजा between India and Bhutan. So it's a very long area, dwars. We have lots of dwars. That means जो इंडिया से भूटान जा सकता है ऐसा कोई भी ऐसा बहुत सारा प्रोविजन है इस एरिया में. So this area is basically already sir mentioned about three T's: timber, tea, and tourism. Yes, that very area is very much famous for tourism. It's famous for tea, and is famous for tea. Timber also. So the whole journey started with 1820s. The Britishers, they initiated the process of tea plantation, and as we know, there is a politics into that also. The tea tribes, why they are not termed as tribal people? Because they are not indigenous. Although they are very much part of our say cultural identity, state identity, maybe it was Bengal or Assam, but the fact is that they are not indigenous because they are migrated from say Orissa, Madhya Pradesh, that Chhattisgarh, Bihar, like that. So they are not indigenous. So whenever you come to West Bengal, basically the Bengalis are the indigenous people. Or in that northern part, eastern part, suppose the Nepalis are the indigenous people. In Assam, Assamese are the indigenous. So in that way, although they have migrated 200 years back, so still there is a confusion that whether they can be termed as indigenous or not. So that's a great problem for us. So anyway, so Dr. Biswas, he selected just 2 districts where maximum concentration of tea type people are there, that is Jalpaiguri and Alipurduar. And in that area there are 145 tea gardens are there, out of which he selected 36. That means almost 25% of the total sample he selected. Out of that total sample, he selected 36% of the tea gardens. Sorry, 25% of the tea gardens. And again there are 36 schools are there. Out of that he selected 18 schools. That means 50% of the total population. So that means he did justice in his study, that he had a fair number of samples. So again he discussed about the various constitutional provisions. We have lots of constitutional provisions, constitutional bodies also we have, and we have lots of schemes also, like ecological residential schools, scholarship provisions for the tea types people, etc., etc. So he has mentioned everything in his chapter 2nd and 3rd. Then he started with that right from the Britishers, the Lord Macaulay era, 1835. The Britishers who has introduced the English education system. So he discussed these issues in his chapter 3rd. Then in his overview of the education system, right from British model since independence, then post-independence era, then Sarva Shiksha Abhijan, Right to Education Act, and the very recent National Education Policy, he has discussed everything. That means this chapter itself is like a thesis for us. This chapter, you can say chapter number 4. It's a very comprehensive chapter to know about the Indian educational system. Then yes, the crux of this thesis, you can say the work, his book is about that chapter number 5, Insight from the Field, what he discussed in the field. So during that field, yes, he already mentioned that was, as we all of us know, that was the COVID period. So a lot of hardship he has to face, but still he has lots of photo images also, wearing masks and all these things. And during that time, it's not easy to go into a school, and particularly into a tea garden, because they are very much orthodox. They are not very, they are not welcoming the outsiders, because there are lots of issues, because these are private entities. They have some sort of suspicion also, because as we know that inside the tea garden there is exploitation everywhere. You can see exploitation in terms of education, in terms of appointment, in terms of employment conditions, in terms of salary and all these things. Everywhere there is exploitation, so it's not easy to venture into a tea garden. But still Dr. Biswas, he ventured into that also, even during that COVID period, and he did his research work. So he had 3 pertinent questions to be addressed, that is state of the tea gardens and the dependents who are depending with these tea gardens. Second one is school of the area. the overall view of the school and its impact over the T tribes community. And third one is definitely a big issue, an issue of concern, that is the dropout. Why there is huge cases of dropouts, and again the issues of bonded labor. But I am surprised that he has missed the issue called child labor. But anyway, it's bonded labor he has addressed. Because to me, whoever is drop out from the schools, they are basically child labor whose age is less than 18. So, yes, he did again, in the first chapter itself, he did extensive literature review also. So yes, these are some of the issues. Then what is his finding? I think that is the main part, what he found. So in three areas he divided his findings also. One is that the overall say environment of the tea garden itself. So you see there is no proper planning even inside the tea gardens. What the Britishers has left with us, still with some minor modification, we are still continuing with that. So there is very, say, old, say, these machineries, tools they are using, they are outdated to say. They are not introducing new machineries. There is lots of mismanagement, because it is always, there are two parts, the Malik and these workers. So definitely there is a divide, haves and the have-nots, you can say in another way. So they are controlling everything. The management is controlling everything, who belonging to a different class or say caste to some extent. They are not from the tea tribe itself. Then yes, there are issues of shutdown. So there are some, they are not making profit also. So some tea gardens are shut down. So definitely the issues of unemployment arises because of that. Then the wages, yes, these are very low, we know, and they are getting their wages weekly basis. So again, that is a big problem, because they can survive up to 7 days only with that age. Malnutrition is a good one serious issues what he addressed out of his research work. What he found that yes, malnutrition, especially among the girl students. Poor health facility, the number of hospitals and doctors are very limited, with limited infrastructure. And yes, definitely superstition. Panigrahi sir also talked about that, the issues of witch hunting and all these are going on. So these are some of the results within the garden what Dr. Biswas found after his work. Then other issues, like the second issues he has already mentioned that insufficient this infrastructure is there. The infrastructure is not sufficient. Low level of awareness. The awareness level is quite low, because some of the respondents, some of the students, they are the first generation school going students. So definitely their parents have no idea at all about what is education, what is free education, what is the benefit of education. Again, there is some apprehension also, because if we go for higher education, we will be thrown out from the system itself, because they will not be treated as labor class. So some people think in that way also. Then midday meal scheme, we know there is a lot of say controversy and say corruption also in distributing that midday meal. Then yes, trafficking is another area of concern. Girl students, they are basically trafficked out of these gardens, even out of the state also. Then again, our previous panelist, he talked about this as if it is a multicultural society, because we cannot use the term tea tribes as a single term word, because there are more than 30 communities. So their languages are different. But what is the language of instruction in the schools? That is a major problem, because it is always Nepali and Bengalis only. But their mother tongue is not this. So there is a gap in knowledge sharing between teachers and students also. The role of teachers, they are overburdened with non-academic activities by the state governments. Everywhere it is happening. In every work, the teachers are being employed, and there are not sufficient number of teachers also. There are ad hoc teachers. There is the provision of coordinator also. Their salary is less. The ratio is quite high between teachers and students. So these are some of the issues. Then again, these schools are in the forest area, so it is in the remote area. We know elephants are coming. It's a major issue, man-elephant conflict. This he has addressed. Then new issues like private schools are coming up. So some of the students, they are going to private schools, so there is no match. There is a total mismatch between infrastructure in terms of private schools and government schools. And definitely the issue of child labor is another area of concern. Their numbers are increasing. And third one is that this drinking habit, already mentioned by previous panelists, this alcoholism is a big issue. It's basically a patriarchal society inside the garden, because they are getting salary weekly, so they are just wasting those salaries in gambling and drinking only. We know it. And then because of that, even they are dropout of students, basically girl students, and they are trafficked. And the parents' role is quite negative in that way, because already I have mentioned that they are the first generation learners, so they have very little idea about what to do with this so-called English educations. So these are some of the issues. And regarding those issues, the connection Dr. Biswajit made with the Right to Education Act, here he suggested some measures like this. What he found that yes, definitely because of Right to Education Act, the infrastructure of the schools are improving. It's a good sign for us. Infrastructure is improving. New schools are being established within these tea gardens. Awareness level also, because of government initiative, the scheme like Coin Nursery, awareness level is increasing. Girl students are getting benefits out of this Coin Nursery scheme. Then this enrollment is increasing definitely, although we have miles to go, but yes, slowly and steadily, because of midday meal scheme also, the enrollment is increasing. And this another issue is the remoteness of these schools. So these are the immediate issues for the author. This should be addressed immediately. And the general recommendation, what he said, that yes, the tea industry as a whole, they have to imbibe new facilities, new technologies. We have to go for new sort of say machineries. Still we are going with this old age machine system. Tea labor legislation, this is one. The Tea Plantation Act, it's quite old. Now it's high time that we must amend this act with these new realities. Then this landless, this you see, basically these people are landless. They are coming from say Orissa, Bihar, and they are not having a plot of land. They don't have that land patta, permanent land patta. They don't have. So it's a very major issue for those. Then employment, they are confining in a closed system. So what about their employment opportunity beyond these tea gardens? Then female officer is not there. All tea plucking people, they are basically women, but they are being say ordered by male counterpart only. So the provision of female officer should be there, and there must be at least one school in every garden, because suppose there are out of that 5 or 6 gardens, they are having just one school. So this number should be increased. Medium of instruction, it should be in their mother tongue. Then this teachers should not be engaged in non-academic issues like that. And then this last issue is that the tribal way. We know that they have their own way of living. So in the name of modernization, we should not disturb them. Let them be happy with their own way of living. And at last, what the author suggests, that the government must play a proactive role. Because although these are private sector, the tea industry itself, but here the government should act properly, because we are living in a welfare state, so they have to play a greater role. So this much I think I should discuss about the whole this research work. Suggest the scholars to go by this book, to have their own PhD in this format. I think I should say that it's a ready-made format. It's a ready-made formula for one scholar. They should copy to make their PhD work more save time also by just copying. I'm not saying that you have to blindly copy this work, but you can copy this formula, say formula of this book. So with this words, I will stop here. Again, I must congratulate the author itself, this Indian Research Scholars Association, for this wonderful initiative. It's a wonderful initiative. It's a pan-Indian organization. I do believe that in the coming years also they will expand their network so that more and more people will be engaged for the benefit of the scholars. Thank you.
थैंक यू सो मच सर। और एक्चुअली सर अंत में अच्छे प्लेयर को ही रखा जाता है, तो इसलिए हमने जब मैंने आपकी सीवी पढ़ी तो मैंने डिसाइड किया कि द लास्ट वी विल बी मेंशन्ड एज ए लास्ट पैनलिस्ट टू प्रोफेसर ज्योतिराज पाठक सर। सो थैंक यू सो मच सर। और जैसा कि हम जानते हैं और 4 पैनलिस्ट आर वेरी इमिनेंट स्कॉलर्स इन द फील्ड ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल साइंस and in the field of the various sub themes of the political science। तो हम उनको सेपरेट अगर लेक्चर रखें तो we must be listen to them almost 2-3 hours। तो 2-3 घंटे में हम उनको एक स्पीकर को सुन सकते हैं, और यहाँ पर हमने 4 पैनलिस्ट इनवाइट किए। सो थैंक यू सर। सो again I would like to request to Dr. Anil Kumar Biswas sir, who is the author of this excellent book। Sir, please come and give the formal vote of thanks to all the panelists and distinguished guests. Thank you, sir. Over to you, sir.
Okay. I first thanks to Indian Research Scholar Association and Vikas and his team for organizing such type of events in few days after a few days, and then just I am very I am enlightened by eminent personalities from different field. That means all are from social sciences, sociology from the perspective of sociology, from the perspective of history, from the perspective of political science, and also from the perspective of economics. Yes, it is my pleasure to hear to all, and I am very happy to hear all of your observation and also suggestion on my works. Actually, I say few sentence. Actually, on that time, I am suffered so much difficulties. Actually, the time was the project was start in March or April. I think in the month March or April in 2019. And pandemic started in March 2020. So it was very difficult to me. And before 2020, I visit tea gardens three or 4 times. But when the pandemic started, it threats to me. But it was constant from the side of ICSSR. That please submit your findings or report within period. Actually, they also wanted to end up the project, that was impress scheme. So it was a very difficult task, and time was one of my difficulties to collect the data. And one thing good for me that I have a few personal connection to tea gardens. Actually, I am from that district, but very close to Alipurduar and Jalpaiguri. And for that issue, it was not difficult to me collect the data. Even the time of pandemic, I collect data from telephonic conversation at the time of pandemic. And after lift of pandemic first phase, I think, then I visit tea garden. My friend Jyotiraj also mentioned here that tea garden is very conservative place. They are not allowed anybody from outsider. And when they know that he or she is working for something something on research, they they not allowed anyone to research on tea gardens and their environment of tea gardens. So it was very difficult issue to me, but I overcome it for by my own connectivity. So I thanks to God and thanks to all the beneficiaries, that was tea gardens management, laborers, schools, teachers, and so on, and parents also. And one thing mentioned, Gagan sir mentioned here a few methodological issues. Yes, actually, I select 36 tea gardens at the same time 18 schools. Actually, I choose that schools of where students from tea gardens are going for their learning. This was one of my methodology that I so then I selected that 18 schools, and also Jyotiraj ji mentioned here that total number of school was there. 36 school is there, and out of 36 I select 18 schools, so where children of that guidance select tea gardens and schools from every block, from the eastern side of Western Doors and up to western side of Eastern Doors, and it is more than 150 kilometers. The area length of area is 150 kilometers, and I cover all the places. And as a control unit or control group, I mean, I select one school from Kalimpong district. And I also already mentioned that I select that school because of the students from Nepali communities. They are going for study in that school. So I select the school from Kalimpong, but Kalimpong is not the jurisdiction of Western Pradesh. So on that way, I complete my works. Dropout, I mentioned dropout in my works, but yes, Gagan sir rightly mentioned that I am not mentioned in number, as a number in my table, the number of dropout. But I analysis, I put the dropout rate and response on in my analysis. Sir, know that I think you are the one of the director of the center of ICSSR. So there is a time constant. So due to that constant, and one thing is time constant of from the side of ICSSR, and another thing the pandemic. So I conclude my works within time, and just like as a gist. So this is my story of my research work. And I thanks to all. I thanks to Professor. I thanks to Professor Geeta Dharampal ma'am, and I thanks to Professor Biswajit Ghosh, my ex Vice Chancellor of my university, and I also thanks to Professor. I think. Sorry, Bhawna Pandey, right? Bhawna Pandey, principal of Dyal Singh Evening College, for participation in this event by discarding all your physical constraint. I thanks from my heart to you, ma'am. And I thanks to all four panelists, my dear friends, Ramakrishna Dharmar sir, Professor Ramakrishna Dharmar from Madurai Kamaraj University, and then Professor Panigrahi, the Professor Panigrahi, Prashna Kumar Panigrahi from Rajiv Gandhi University, and also eminent scholar, my dear friend, Dr. Gagan Bihari Sahu, Center for Social Studies, Gujarat, and my very close friend, Professor Jyotiraj Pathak from Borderland University. And I thanks from my heart to all the scholars, those who are present and listen the event. And in last, I convey my gratitude from my heart to the Indian Research Scholar Association for taking this initiative. I thanks to all again, and stop here for all of your best wishes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.